Hi, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. I'm fortunate to be in conversation with Tim Warren as part of our Aspire Leadership Program featured episode. Tim is the Regional Sales Director at Worldpay. Tim, do you want to just expand a bit on that introduction?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. So I'm a leader of 9 salespeople, and we're based in the West Midlands area. I was originally a mid-market seller and was promoted around about 15 months ago.
Thank you, Tim. And thank you for joining us. And thank you for being open to asking some questions and having a chat about your experiences of the Aspire program. So without further ado, my first question is, we're now nearly 8 months on from your graduation from the program. How's it impacted you?
I think basically the main thing that stands out is how it's helped me with my strategy. We've had a very strong strategy that has really helped build a team. And what's been important is that the team understand the vision. Everybody in the team also understands what their role is, what their part to play is. What that's helped me to do as well is to develop a culture, a really strong culture within the team, which effectively that's kind of where the success has come from. Without going into too much detail, it basically has allowed me to, by having that culture where nobody leaves anybody behind. If anyone's struggling, automatically there'll be 3 or 4 volunteers, wanting to get in there and to help. So effectively, the way it's impacted me, it's allowed me to be in sort of 9 different places all at once, because everybody is pulling in the same direction together. That's where the power and the strength has really come from. And I think that's mostly where it's impacted me.
Brilliant, thank you. And it sounds like you've taken some of the learnings from the program and very pragmatically installed it into almost like an operating manual for how you lead the team.
Absolutely. I mean, the timing of when I was promoted was probably about, although when we did our program, we did have the COVID situation, so it was a little bit more extended than probably the norm. But it was about halfway through. So I was actually able to use the training in a real situation and actually see it work, and know what I was actually doing, and the result I was getting was because of what I was doing. So yeah, it was literally like a user manual.
Oh no, that's great. Have you seen any other benefits, either in your work/career or on the personal side of things?
Absolutely, yeah. I think again, there's been quite a few different areas where I've felt that it has helped me, but I think the ones that stand out mainly is communicating. As a seller previously, all I had to do was just look after myself. There was nothing else to do or worry about. And if you do it really well, it's actually not very difficult to do either. Whereas I feel now this has helped me a lot more with communicating. I've had to do a lot more communicating now in this role. And that's not just in the role, but personally as well. I've used it to push myself outside of my comfort zones. So whereas before I might not have challenged myself personally, whereas I feel now I would do, and I would push to get myself out of that comfort zone and try new things. So yeah, it's definitely helped me.
Oh, look, that's great to hear. If you were to pick one thing, what would be the most valuable thing that you've taken away from the Aspire Academy?
I think understanding how to build a successful winning team, because that was the situation that I was in, and being able to actually figure out and understand what was involved, what was going to need to happen, and the different stages. The one that really stuck out to me was the 5 dysfunctions of a winning team, and I was able to literally try and replicate just that. And if you look at the team I have now, I've had no attrition whatsoever in the full 15 months. Pretty much every single one of my team for the entire year has been a constant over 100% performer. Yes, we've had challenges, and we've clashed heads, and we've had differences of opinion and so on. But the end result has been that it's enabled me to build a team that is strong enough that they will challenge each other and hold each other accountable. And it allows me to develop the strategy so that we all know exactly where we're going, and it's proven to work.
Excellent, thank you. I don't know how much you knew in terms of the content of the academy before you joined, and without giving away any secrets in terms of that content, how did the reality compare to your expectations before you took part?
Yeah, so far greater. So basically, it was a lot more challenging than what I was expecting. I was expecting just a simple, straightforward course. You attend, you'll watch some PowerPoint presentations and maybe do a few exercises. Very, very different to that. It was surprising. There was some, like you say, I won't give the game away, but there was certainly some surprises in there that were very welcomed, very exciting. And then also there was some challenges in there which I wasn't expecting, and they also were very rewarding. So yeah, I think that's
very good. Surprising and rewarding is what I'm picking up from that.
Yeah.
And more challenging.
Absolutely.
I do have a question here about would you recommend the academy, but I'm going to change it slightly if I may, which is, who would you recommend the academy to?
For me personally, who I would recommend, it would be anybody that is looking to go into leadership. Having had experience in the past of leadership and having had some success, albeit a good few years ago, it's like anything. When you're good at something, actually understanding why you're good at it and what it is that you're doing that is so good, so you can replicate it and do more of it. So I found that was the most successful part of the outcome of the training. So anybody that is looking to get into leadership, anybody that is in leadership but feels they want to go further and they want to progress and be even better at what they do, I would also recommend it to them as well.
Brilliant. Thank you, Tim. And if you were to sum up your experience on the academy in 3 words, what would those 3 words be?
Just 3. Right. Worthwhile. Absolutely worthwhile. I would say challenging, as we've already said before, because it's great to be challenged in the training, and definitely rewarding.
Tim, thanks for answering the questions and getting involved in our podcast. But before I let you go, I've got 4 quick fire questions that I'd love to ask you. Is that okay?
Yep, fire away.
All right.
I'll do my best.
Sorry, say again.
I say I'll do my best.
You do your best. I'm sure you do very well. The first one is, what's your favourite sales book, podcast, or blog?
It would be a book, and that's The Inspirational Leader by Clifford Thomas.
And what is it about that book that you particularly like?
I think, in my opinion, it's very similar to the Aspire training. There's a lot of things in there that I really like. Again, without giving too much away about the course, but yes, there's some very relevant information in there that's very similar. So I find it enjoyable, and it adds on to what I've already gained.
Excellent. Well, I was just writing a note about that book, so I'm learning from every time I ask this question, they come up with books that I haven't got, and I've got hundreds of books. There it is. Lovely. Excellent. I think I'm going to have to read it and then do a quick book review for some of our audience.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thank you. The second question is, what do you believe are the 3 most important attributes to be a successful sales leader?
The first one would be a positive attitude. I think leading or in sales, you've absolutely got to have a positive attitude. I think also to be competitive and want to be the best. Again, that could probably relate to sales as well. And I think also to be proud. As a leader, if you're proud and you're proud of your people, that will reflect and carry through into the team as well.
Brilliant. Thank you. And what's the best piece of advice you've ever been given in terms of leadership?
The one that I can remember that stands out the most is it was when things really get bad and they hit rock bottom and they literally can't get any worse. The good news is that they can only get better. And it's that mindset of knowing that you may well be as low as you could possibly be at the minute. But the great news is there is a positive. You wouldn't believe it, but there is. And that is that things can only get better. And I've found that to be true as well.
That's a great piece of advice. And what I think we might do is just play Things Can Only Get Better on top of this response, just to reinforce the message.
Yeah.
As long as we don't have to pay license fees to D-Ream.
Yeah.
Focusing in on sales then, what is the poor sales habit that annoys you the most?
That's an easy one. That's got to be negativity. If somebody in sales is negative, the effect that can have on everybody surrounding them, one negative person can have such an impact and ruin what other people have got. So the one thing I absolutely can't do with is negativity.
No negativity allowed. And I mean, if that ever does crop up in the team, what's your approach to dealing with it?
I basically have to find out what the problem is, what is causing the negativity. And then for me, I would be looking to see if that person can change that style of thinking. I found in the past, you can have all the ability and all the skills and a terrible attitude and be quite negative, and they're almost, you can't do anything with them. However, if you've got somebody that's possibly got almost no skills, very small ability at that time, but they've got a fabulous positive attitude, you can do more with that person than you can with somebody with a negative attitude. So basically, I would find out if we can change that attitude, and if not, you couldn't be a part of the team.
Yeah, and of course, with my coaching hat on, it's for them to change, isn't it? We can't change the attitude. They have to choose to change the attitude themselves.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe we can open their eyes to the impact of that negativity.
Yep, absolutely.
Tim, thank you. There are 4 quick-fire questions. Thank you for answering those. It's been a real pleasure to catch up with you and have this conversation, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future.
Brilliant. Great to see you. Thanks.
Cheers.